data. Now suppose these numbers are monetary amounts, money, then we can format this data as such. So if I search for, if I click on this dollar sign, then this might tell me the dollars involved. So suppose I'm doing some accounting for some expense, some budgeting. So I might suppose it's for college enrollment. So we might have tuition fees. We might have living costs. Let's make that a little bit bigger. And we may also have a date when these need to be paid. So if I have a column here, due date, then I could say here 1st of September. So 1 Sep 2022. Then it should automatically put it in the right format here. And maybe in your locale you don't like to view it this way. So if we change the format of the cell, then we can change the date time to whatever format you like. Oh, it may be that we have payments that are due monthly. So we might say something like a month later. This will be October 1st, 2022. And again, we'd have to format that to the right thing. So let's just select the entire column and format it correctly. Oops. But then trying to add all of these may get a bit tiresome. So it would be good to automate this. Is there any way I could almost copy and paste? What I can do, if I drag this, it will increment it by 1 day. If I want it to be incremented by 1 month, then if I highlight this interval of a month, then it should automatically do this. And what this little plus icon is, don't confuse it. Don't confuse the white plus sign with the black plus sign that you get when you hover over this little bottom corner. It becomes a black sign, white sign, black sign. And it may be that you wish to add up the costs. So something like total costs, and then we can say equals sum, and then let's click on the first row. Whoops, that's not quite correct. Sum, open bracket. Let's click on the first cell, and then let's select all the cells that we want to add up. So it will give us a range B2 to B20, and then we close brackets, and it should give us the total amount. Now we can there is, so here is the way that we reference cells. So if for some reason I wanted to put this same value here, then I would just say equals B2, and it will copy the value here. Maybe I want to put it in a different currency. So if it's in Indian rupees, then I'm not sure what the exchange rate is, but maybe let's say 40 rupees is $1. So maybe the amount would be 40, and that would not be dollars. So we'd have to change that. In fact, we can change that to be. Let's see if we have down here in Indian rupees. If not, then I will leave that rupees, Tamil, rupees, Punjabi. I'm not familiar with the different locales here. Looks like in INR, Indian rupees, should be there. And then we say OK. And you may not want decimal places. I don't know who uses Paisa these days. So you can click on up here. There's a button that allows you to increase or decrease the number of decimal places. It may be a column is too wide, so you want to make it narrower. You would double click on the cell where it shows that. Maybe you want the numbers to appear at the begin. Maybe you want it to be left aligned or right aligned, and it doesn't give you the right way to align it. So you could click on a column, and in the let's search for about justifying. In fact, there's a button here, so we can align right. But let's find here. Okay, it does not have a line there, so we would just use these buttons here. So if we wanted to, it's currently right justified, maybe we want it left justified, and that doesn't work. Well, actually, we can move the dollar sign here, but there are various ways you can justify your text. So maybe you want it to appear at the right hand side or the left hand side. For these monetary amounts, you can see there's something a little bit unusual going on, but you could have it appear on the right or the left side. In fact, that is not quite the same thing. So can we can we format the column? We would go to format cells, and then alignment. We would change to okay. We would just want the left. Okay, since we did some indenting, that has then probably some undesirable consequences. So we would change it back to here. But yeah, the correct way to align is to change here from left to right. When we're doing expressions, we could add things up manually. So maybe this cell we want to be cells 2 and 3 added. So we do equals, and then let's click on one cell, which would be B5, and then a plus sign, and then the other cell that we want to add up. Equals B5 plus B4 will give you 7. It may be that later on we decide we don't care about certain fields. So maybe once I've converted to Indian rupees, I don't really care about the dollar amounts. And you will get these hash signs if it's too narrow, so double click to make it wider. So maybe I no longer, and we can go across as well, so that these totals up here, adding up dates doesn't really make sense, but it may be in Indian rupees that like this. So it may be that this doesn't matter to us anymore, so we can hide this column. Right click on this column and do hide. And you may find that there are just too many columns here. You don't need this. You don't need this many rows or this many columns. This is more than you need. So what we can do is click on the column. We can hold down the Shift key and keep pressing the right arrow, and we can go right until the end. And you probably have to press the End key to go right until the end. And it will take you there, and you can right click. In fact, on Mac I have to do Command Shift right to go right to the end. We can delete these excess columns. In fact, that doesn't really do anything there. Can we? If we can't do that, we can just, for now, we can just hide it and say that's the end of the spreadsheet. And same down here. Maybe after we don't need it more than 50 rows, so we can just hide it there. Now, when we scroll down, we can't see the heading here. What are all these dates? Suppose I was to extend this, then you might be looking at some data way down here, and you don't remember what the column is. So what you can do for that is add a heading column, And if I remember correctly, you can, I'm more of a Google Docs user, so trying to remember how to do this is tripping me up. Let's quickly see if we can find it with heading column, heading row. There probably is a way to do it, and I am not aware how to do that, so I will leave that. We might also find that if some data is very narrow, like this, then putting a long column in here is going to be a problem. Suppose we have a very long title name, like, then this will bleed into the next column, which may be okay to you, but it may not be. So there's a couple of things you can do, because maybe the next column says comments, and so what is this thing? So there's a couple of things. So it will automatically truncate if you want it to bleed through. Oh, but suppose there isn't something there. Do you want this to bleed over? Maybe you still don't want it because it's just not aesthetically pleasing. There's a way to change that behavior. I believe. Is that called? Okay, so you can wrap. There's a couple of things you can do. You can wrap it by clicking on this wrap button. Let me make sure you can see that. That's so that's wrapping up here. We could shrink the text to fit, and I guess trying to truncate, if there's nothing here, it won't allow you to do that. But another thing we can do is we can change the alignment. So if you right click here and go to format cells, then in the alignment you can change the rotation. So maybe I could do it at a 45-degree angle. And it still doesn't allow me to get it in, but it allows me to get more in than if it were horizontal. And if you don't believe me, then you need to do a bit of trigonometry. It may be that we only care about costs that are greater than 0 here. So what can we do for that? We should be able to do a filter on this column. So we right click, and we can go to data, and we can go to filter, and then a little drop down glyph appears here. So if you click on that, well, one, we can sort it. In fact, let's do that. So if we do it, okay, we want to select the whole table, not just the existing column. So that will sort us by the amount, and we can do it descending if we want as well. In fact, let me remove the selection because I think that might result in some wrong selections. But it may be that we want to filter by the amount. So we don't want to filter by color. We want to filter by greater than. So suppose we want all the amounts that are greater than 0 Indian rupees. Then that will give us just these. And then we just close this, and we can just deal with the rows that matter to us. And others might be, maybe is there a way for us to do just whether it's empty or not? I don't believe there is. Maybe on the first column, if we can we try that? So again, filter, and then click on the down arrow here, and we can filter. Can we choose? Okay, blanks. So maybe we don't care about blanks. So unselect that, and then only your non-blank ones will appear here. Though it looks like blank rows, it doesn't stop, but just blanks in the middle of our table, it would stop. Let's clear that filter. How can we beautify this? So the data we're not going to make any changes to, but what if we just want to make this look a little bit more attractive? What we can do is go to right click just anywhere here, and then we can do format cells, and then look at, I need to make sure I find this. In fact, I may need to do formatting. Style is what we want, and then okay, that will tell it that's something else. I believe there's a way to change the aesthetics, which is what I'm trying to find here. These things do change between different versions. Now let's look at conditional formatting. So maybe rows where there's more than 100, we want to highlight them. So let's go to View, Format, Conditional Formatting.
It's 3:30.
So for this whole worksheet, what we could say, we can add a rule. So let's click on the plus sign down here, and we say so if we want to get an idea how of the magnitude of the of each number more visually with colors for this entire column, we can apply this range, this graded color scale, and so then we'll see here that actually this is probably the opposite of what we want. We want a graded color scale such with the rules such that the lowest value we want to be a less intense color, and maybe the most intense color we want to be darker for the higher values. So then if we say OK for that, then we can maybe more visually see here that the dark one, it's up here.